Toss it over to Dave.
Thanks, Court. The November midterm elections are less than 60 days away now, and both Democrats and Republicans are pointing fingers when it comes to the economy. And now unions that support President Obama are joining the blame Bush game.
You know, for 8 years, we got worked over by the Bush administration. And now we have an administration that's working with us instead. So there's some hope. The foundation's been built. We've reined in Wall Street. We've done something to control health care. We've started the process.
But a recent USA Today Gallup poll shows more Americans think President Obama deserves more of the blame for a struggling economy. So which party actually has a better plan? Joining us for a fair and balanced debate, Thea. She's the policy director and chief international economist at the AFL-CIO, and Vincent Vernuccio. He is labor policy counsel at the Competitive Enterprise Institute and former member of the Labor Department in the Bush administration. Good morning to both of you. Thea, let me ask you, Democrats have been in control now 4 years, including an overwhelming majority in 2008, passed nearly $1 trillion in stimulus spending, and still we're stuck on 9.6% unemployment. Is it fair to blame the Bush administration for our current economic mess?
Well, in fact, they inherited a pretty deep problem from President Bush, and I think they're doing the best they can. They've faced a lot of obstructionism from the Republicans in Congress who have voted no repeatedly on jobs bills, on infrastructure, on state and local aid, on small business aid. So they've had a very heavy thing. But of course, the Democrats have to take some responsibility, and I think they are taking that responsibility. I think they're showing a lot of leadership to try to get the economy out of the deep ditch that it's in. But you have to remember they inherited a $1 trillion budget deficit from George W. Bush. And in 8 years in office, President Bush lost jobs and saw a decline in median family income. He's one of the worst economic presidents in this century.
Vincent, the main charge by the Democrats, you just heard from Thea, is that the Republicans are obstructionists. They are the party of no without solutions. How do you counter that?
Well, listen, it's 19 months into the Obama administration, and, you know, I'd say happy Labor Day, but for 15 million Americans, it's anything but. The Obama administration, through consistent economic policies, demagoguing business, great uncertainty in the economy, is driving business away and driving jobs down. I mean, I got some numbers for you. 7.4% was the unemployment rate when President Bush left office. Like you said, it's now 9.6. A more telling number is the people that were unemployed for 27 or more weeks under President Bush when Bush left office was a little over 2 million. Now it's over 6 million. How can this be Bush's fault when Obama's been in place for 19 months, yet these numbers keep escalating? The president of the AFL-CIO says that they're working. This administration is working with them. Well, you know what working with them translates into? Giving unions bailout after bailout, funneling money to them. It's just a pure payback. That's what working with them means. And it is absolutely hilarious that today Obama is speaking to union members out in Milwaukee. Remember, it was the Milwaukee Teachers Union that let over 400 of their own members be fired because they didn't want to capitulate to some co-pays and decreases in a little bit of their benefits to bring it into parity with the private sector.
And Thea, now here we are, Labor Day. We've got the big speech today, a new economic policy unveiled on Wednesday. It's clear no stimulus spending is going to pass through the House or the Senate. The American people are not happy with it. What do the Democrats do to try to get this thing moving and maybe score a political point or two?
Well, I think the Democrats are going to do what they've been doing, which is to put forward a clear, comprehensive jobs program and to ask the Republicans to support them, to work together so we can come together as a nation. So they've put forward infrastructure bills to rebuild our bridges, our schools, our highways, our electronics, our communication system. They're putting forward bills to keep teachers and police and firefighters in their jobs, for state and local aid, to extend unemployment insurance. And so they're going to keep on doing what they've been doing to have some aid for small business, some tax relief for small business. I think the Democrats are doing exactly what's right, but what they need is some cooperation from the Republican Party and not so much obstructionism.
Got to run, Thea. Those bills will be taken up next week when the House and Senate return from vacation. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Happy Labor Day.